Welcome to Your Funeral Coach Talks, a bi-monthly podcast hosted by Lisa Baue, founder of Your Funeral Coach, a consulting and mentoring company serving the funeral, cremation, and cemetery profession. Listen in today to the Caring for Yourself series as she interviews thought leaders and difference makers in her profession.
Welcome, listeners. We are here today with one of our favorite people, Marguerite Ham with Igniting Success. I'm excited to have her here today. This is year 2023, and we are just super excited to get started with some new ideas to help you help yourself, both caring for yourself professionally, as well as caring for yourself in a personal way, in a healthy way, both mentally and physically. And Marguerite is the greatest person to do this. She's one of our collaborative network partners here at yourfuneralcoach.com. And I'm going to have her tell, for the new listeners, a little bit about herself. And then we're going to be talking about things we can do in this new year that can apply to any time you listen to this podcast to get yourself on the right track. Marguerite, welcome.
I am so excited to be here as always, Lisa. Thanks again for inviting me back. So my name's Marguerite Ham. I am with Igniting Success. And for the last 30 plus years, I've been focusing on leadership training, communication skills training, team building, and of course, coaching. And one of my specialties is helping organizations create leadership academies for their staff that last anywhere from a year to 2 years. And that is really my most passionate work. So thanks again for having me here.
You're most welcome. And you work with a lot of professionals in funeral service as well as other companies outside of our profession. But you are also the Dean of the Leadership Academy for Selected Independent Funeral Homes. I know you've done leadership academies in other funeral home organizations, cemetery, cremation companies, which is really cool too, as well as non-funeral service related.
Absolutely.
But these academies are cool. So you come in, you'll actually do virtual and on virtual training, but you also do one-on-one in-person training and group training. Yep. And so all of this
virtual, on-site, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, full service.
You betcha. And you're great at it. Well, one of the things Marguerite and I have done each and every year, except during the pandemic year, and we missed that year, is we create these things called vision boards. It's about setting your vision for the upcoming year. And part of that has to do with believing that you need some improvement in some areas, right? Or you need more focus in certain areas. And these boards, I'm very visual. I don't know about the rest of you listening in today. I know Marguerite and I are both kind of visual people. We need to kind of see it and have it up in front of us as reminders. So these are really fun to do. And we're going to talk about how to make a vision board today. We're also going to speak more about a guiding word or a guiding phrase for ourselves that will drive us the rest of the year. And Marguerite's one step ahead of me, as usual. She has her guiding phrase for 2023, and you want to share it with our guests?
Sure. So my phrase is create a life. 2022 was a really, really super busy year for me, and I feel as though my life got pulled along by my schedule and my commitments and my work versus me creating my life. And so I really did some deep thinking and reflection and talked with my husband about it. And I said, I'm not doing that again. I want to create my life both personally and professionally so that I feel more in balance. I got out of balance in 2022.
You know, Marguerite, I think you and the rest of the world got out of balance in 2022 because, I mean, let's face it, we were all coming out of the pandemic and things were changing, and a lot of people were changing jobs and careers.
Oh, yeah.
And funeral service is struggling finding new funeral directors or just funeral directors, period, or workers in cemeteries or crematory operators, just finding great employees. So everyone's starting to question, where do I belong? What should I be doing more
What's
of?
important to me?
Yes. What should I do less of? Right.
Less of, more of.
I think this was a questioning year for us. And I think we probably piled on a lot of things that we didn't need to. And maybe we need to clear some of those off our plate. So let's talk about how do we find this guiding phrase or word for ourselves? Because once you find that, that kind of helps you design that vision board. I pulled up 2 of my old vision boards and have them here with me today. And I noticed at the very top of my last 2 vision boards, I have the phrase, live your best life.
Love that.
Twice. So that must mean something very powerful to me.
Right.
That's what I see myself doing.
Yep.
And defining what that means is what we put into other places on this board with all kinds of cool cutout stuff.
And you're going to take pictures and make that available under the podcast.
I think I just might do that.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, I will. Would you want to share one of your vision boards?
Absolutely.
Too? All right, send me a
picture.
Good photo. Yeah,
I'd
we'll
love
share
to.
our board with our guests so they can
And by the way, share your boards with us. If you decide to do this, please, send copy pictures of your boards. We'd love to see them.
It's a great idea. We could put it up on our Facebook pages and everybody could share their boards.
I love
that idea. Okay, Instagram, of course. And maybe we can find a spot on the website to have a page called Vision Boards and we'll put all the samples up there.
Yes.
Oh, I love that idea. Okay, so we're sitting here creating business but not getting down to business. So let's do this. So Marguerite, you gave me this handout about the finding your phrase, and there's all kinds of words on it, on guiding words. Take us down this road of how we come up with this phrase or this word.
So this guiding phrase or word, like I chose a phrase this year, which is create a life. And, many times I just choose one word. Last year, my word was harmony. I wanted to feel more harmony in my life, personally and professionally. This year, it's a little bit different, create a life. And so when you think about this, you want to take a little bit of time and get quiet, maybe do a short guided meditation, just clear your space and think about what is it that you really want to create for yourself personally and professionally in 2023. What do you want to feel during this year? What kind of experiences do you want to have? What results, effects, or changes do you want to see in your life? Like I mentioned earlier, I felt a little out of balance in 2022. 2023, I want to be more in balance personally and professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Are there certain things that you want to accomplish? Big projects, small projects. What are some of your dreams? What's on your bucket list, right? So many people these days are reevaluating their purpose, their meaning, their values in life. And so that's a part of what this process is. And so we're going to share a PDF underneath the podcast that'll have some inspiring words that you can look at and see if any of them resonate with you. Here's a few to think about. Gratitude, finding more peace, being more intentional, perhaps creating more connections in your life, maybe transformation, right? Maybe there's a big change coming in your life. Maybe finding more courage, right? The last few years, fear has been a big challenge for people. So maybe it's overcoming fears and finding courage in our lives. Maybe it's becoming more resilient or being inspirational for others. So these are some of the ideas that you can have.
And like the journal
word
that you and I created called Be Bold, Be Brave, and Be Brilliant. Maybe it is about one of those words.
Yes.
And if you'd like to have a copy of one of these journals, they're blank inside, but they come with journal prompts that you can request, and we'll have those in there. And these journals right now, as long as our supplies last, and there are very few left, by the way.
Yeah.
They're free. They're complimentary, and we'll send them to you. If you live in Canada, though, I am going to warn you, it's about $22 to send them to you. So we would appreciate a little help with that for all our Canadian listeners. I love these words, courage, believe in yourself, being more positive. That's a great word that I think we could use more positivity in our lives right now.
There's been so much negativity out there.
It seems like that.
Yeah.
It really seems like that. My daughter reminded me over the holidays because I said something to her and when we were cooking or doing something, and she goes, Mom, you need to look on the bright side of things. She's like, no, Mom, that's negative. And I was like, oh my gosh, here my daughter is correcting me like I used to correct her. It's so funny to watch
what
this
goes
transition.
around comes around.
That's right. I was really proud of her actually and pleased, and she was absolutely right. I said, you're right, honey. Absolutely. Let's look at the positive side of this. So, Oh, I love this. Be a survivor, moving forward, having serenity. I think maybe you need more inspiration in your
Or
life.
maybe even having more fun, you know?
Oh, fun.
Recently in my yoga classes, we've been talking about frolicking. And I thought, what a great word, you know? Things have felt so heavy. And that word frolic, like, feels like a light and fun word. So maybe we need to find more. You invented the word play. What was it? Funfulness.
Funfulness.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that word. Let's bring more funfulness into our work lives. Well, you got to keep the fun in funeral, right?
That's right.
So how do we get more funfulness in our lives? And it is, maybe someday it'll show up in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Right. So this is about finding your word or a phrase,
Yep.
right? Something that's going to motivate you to action, encourage you when you're struggling. I know when I look at my vision board, it really reminds me of things that I know I can do. And it gives me encouragement. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
you can use it. You can use this short phrase or guiding word as kind of a compass, right? So if you come to a crossroads or a really difficult decision to make, you could say, "Well, gosh, you know, this is my word or phrase for the year. Is it in alignment with that?" And if that doesn't answer the question, then you can go back to your core values, right? Always go back to those core values when you're making a big decision.
Hopefully you have them
Yes.
written down.
Yep.
And if you don't, call Marguerite because she'll help you find them.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you should have your core values. That's very personal core values.
And professionally, you should have
And
them
professionally,
both.
right? And they need to
And
align.
hopefully a couple of them cross over. You know, sometimes there's a couple of different core values personally and professionally, but there should be one or two that cross over that are similar both personally and professionally.
You know, we've talked about core values in a podcast before.
We
so if you listeners go back to yourfuneralcoach.com and you go look at the list of our podcasts with Marguerite and I, you'll find a couple in there where we discuss how to set up your core values.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about how to really get this. There's like a 5-step formula to help you get started on your word. And number 1, start by thinking about the main area you need to strengthen.
Yep. Yeah. And that's where know yourself. What's working, what's not working? You know, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, right? I call them gifts and gaps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about, gosh, what do I need to strengthen? If you've been living in fear, maybe you need to strengthen courage. If you've felt down, I mean, so many people in our world are struggling with mental health, and that is not a bad thing. It is what it is, but have the courage to name it so you can tame it. And so maybe you do have to work on resilience.
Name it so you can tame it. I love that.
Yep.
Where in your life do you need to come up a little higher and push yourself a little bit more? Right? What in your life does not match up? Or how would you like it to look or be like in the future, this next year?
Yeah.
Create it. You have to write it down. Now, when you said spend some time meditating to come up with this word or phrase, like, Tell me about that. How much time should someone dedicate?
Well, it's different for everyone, I think. I think that if you just sit down and take a few deep breaths, so much can be accomplished by grounding ourselves with deep breaths. And that's inhale 4 counts, exhale 4 counts.
We're having a mini yoga class here.
And then repeat that.
Feel this?
And then repeat that 3 to 5 times. And then just sit in stillness. And maybe, you've got some favorite kind of ethereal music you can play in the background.
Nice.
And you just let your mind relax and go with a focus or intention on a word, a guiding word that can be your compass, a phrase that can help you stay on track and be more intentional.
I love that. Well, let's look at number 2. So visualizing your overall goal for the year, the part of your life which is most in need of improvement, and attach a word to symbolize it. What one word will get the ball rolling for you and continue to help you build momentum? Okay.
And, there's, me and my research, I do 3 to 5 hours of research every week. And one of the things I've been reading a lot about is some experts, quote unquote, are saying, get away from New Year's resolutions, because more often than not, by the second week in January, 80% of us have dropped off from those resolutions of I'm going to lose weight. We won't go into all of that, but and by the end of January, close to 90% of us have dropped off. And so it's about more of a commitment.
Mhm.
What are some baby changes, baby steps that you can make in your life, or a habit that you can create that will create and help you get to the ultimate goal? If we just do the big picture goal and we don't break it down, of course, it's not going to work. So commitment to a new behavior.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So it can be about your attitude or outlook, how you express yourself in the coming year. It could
Yep.
be personal or career. You can probably think of several words, right? A whole bunch of words. So how do you figure out which word is right for you? Like
You'll know when you land
you,
on it.
you just dump a bunch of words on a sheet, right? Or on your laptop or whatever,
Yep.
in your notes in your iPhone. And then you just
And
think
the
about
other
it for a
thing
while.
is, take a little bit of time and reflect on 2022.
Mm.
What worked? What didn't work? What were you frustrated with? And that's kind of what drove me to create a life. What was frustrating me was I was so busy with work. I wasn't taking time to spend time in my personal relationships and to ride my horses. I didn't ride my horses enough. And so all of these things, that was incredibly frustrating. So that's how I landed on create a life. We have to be in charge of creating a life, or someone else will take charge of our lives and all of our own time will disappear. So,
That's correct.
right? So, think about a word or a phrase and then say it out loud and see if it really resonates, and try it on, right? It's kind of like putting on a new pair of shoes and try them on. And sometimes you have to walk around in them a little bit.
I see.
And then maybe after you're in them for an hour, all of a sudden your little baby toe starts to hurt and it's not quite the right fit. So this is what this is like. It's not a one and done. See if it's the right fit. And if it's not, change it.
Oh, I like that. So does it call to you? Does it ignite something really deep inside of you that wakes you up
Yep.
and causes a bolt of excitement to zing through you? And it says, sample it, savor it, discuss how it affects you on a physical level. Does it help you feel alive and more energized or unmoved?
Right.
So then select it. Again, if the word you wrote down isn't quite right, keep working on it. Don't
Yep.
give up, right?
Now, I typically do say choose only one word, but of
Mhm.
course, me being a squiggly personality, that's why, mine is create a life. And so mine's 3 words, create a life, but that is really what resonated. I tried it on, and it was like a ding, ding, ding. That is it for me.
There you go. So your word or phrase of the year is a reflective tool to question yourself. And does what I am doing, saying, or thinking align with this word or phrase? So choose whatever really embodies you. That is what you want to accomplish this year. And then you start visualizing the results. And that's how you start with
Your vision board.
Right. Say, let's talk about those vision boards a little bit. And how do we actually design them?
Yeah.
So first you have to start with what?
So you want to start by collecting all your supplies, right? And the vision board, what you and I use, Lisa, is a 20-inch by 15-inch core foam,
Mhm.
or foam core, whatever you call those.
Yeah, we get the
boards.
big one and we cut it in half.
We
Right.
really, that size is just more manageable.
Mhm.
You also want to have some of your favorite magazines. Like for me, my magazines have to do with horses, with yoga, with mindfulness, with nature, and then I have my professional things, right? So I have my leadership magazines and articles, and you just start going through these magazines and you cut out pictures and phrases that resonate with you. And I typically do that year round, and I have a file that I keep in my desk.
I know, because mine is sitting here. It's so heavy with all these magazines.
Right.
I can barely lift my
Right.
container.
But what's nice is you go through that and it's really, it helps you to create your vision board a lot faster. And then you just start laying things out on your foam core, and I don't glue right away. I kind of lay things out, put things down, and then after I've got it all laid out and it feels good, I usually leave it for 24 hours before I glue it, and then come back and check it out, move things around a
And
little
hope
bit
the
more.
dog or cat doesn't get into it and
Yes,
start
hope
moving,
the dog or
right?
cat doesn't go
Yeah.
move everything around. And then I just glue it all together. And you'll know what works for you. The way I create my vision board is I have 3 sections. The left side is typically my work section.
Mhm.
The right side is typically my personal life. And then the center is my connection point. So that's where my yoga comes in, my mindfulness, my exercise. Because if I don't maintain my health, neither my personal or professional life will come to fruition. So for me, that health piece is in the center, and that connection piece to my personal and professional world.
That's cool. I like that whole centerpiece because in the middle of mine, when we post them, you'll see I actually have a daisy.
Ah.
And I love flowers, right? So I'm always planting things in the spring.
Oh my God, you had the most beautiful wildflowers here this year.
Thank you. Well, I can't take all the credit for that. So my husband helped a lot with that too. We sprinkled them everywhere. It was really pretty. But in the middle, these petals on the daisy, I have handwritten in things like health and joy and flourish and purpose and family and friends. And these are the different petals. And as they go outward, then they kind of point to things.
Yep.
Right. And so it may not look exactly like it should, but I put my health up at the upper left under live your best life. And then I had some spiritual things over on the right, and then some setting the missions. And then I came down into more things about decluttering my life and cleaning my closets out. All those things we hate to do.
Which you did.
Yeah, I did a pretty good job, but now they're messy again. So I'm looking right back at them going, oh my goodness. And then on the bottom, it's time with my horses and my husband and my children and my and spending time with my friends. There's actually pictures of us going down a river and on a girls' ride and things like that. So I just felt that was important. Now, everybody's going to go, okay, well, what about professionally and your business? I said, well, I actually have things about leaving a legacy, starting a new beginning. And when I transitioned from my family-owned business into my coaching business, and moved into a whole different type of life, that's where I was headed. And I really don't think I knew it when I did that.
You didn't.
Where I was going.
That was still in the creative, the creation mode.
Right.
And
so
now look where it is. It's wonderful.
Look where it is
finally
now.
Revealed itself, and it's
did.
marching forward.
It did. So those are fun things to do. Now there's some questions I think we're going to also try to post about the 5 steps of creating a vision board.
Yep.
So you get through all the magazines, don't glue. You eliminate any images that don't feel right to you.
Right.
And then you start the gluing, right? And you leave space in the center of the board for some kind of really cool photograph, either of yourself or something that has great meaning to you.
Right. And also remember to leave a little white space. Someone coached me through that one time, is that because I tended to cover every single square inch of the vision board, but that doesn't allow for things to come in. Right? So leaving a little bit of white space around on your vision board allows for, I guess we'll call it divine downloads, for things just to show up in our lives.
Interesting.
And so think about that too. But your vision board is really almost like a treasure map or a visual explorer or a creative collage. And it, you want to keep it simple. And also you want to be sure to keep, after you've completed it, put it in a place where you see it. I usually put mine right on top of a bookcase next to my desk, so I see it every single day. And if you even want to be more intentional with it, just take a couple of minutes each and every day and just put it on your lap and just meditate on it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, to bring that intention, that unconscious intention into your life with what you want to create.
I like that idea. And for all the techies out there, take a screenshot of it. put it up. You could put it up on the screen on your laptop, on your phone, on any device that you're using, so that it's always with you when you travel. And you should look at it every day. I used to look at mine every single morning. And then at the beginning of the week, say, okay, what do I want to do to keep things going from my vision board in my life this week?
Right.
And then try to evaluate it on the weekend or Friday to say, how did I do? And
Yep.
if I had a crazy week that it just didn't get all accomplished, it's a really good reminder. And when you travel, you can't forget about the
Oh
things
boy,
that are
do
important
you travel?
to you. Right. So we travel a little bit. And so because of that, you can lose sight of some of the things you want to accomplish.
And that's what else is nice about these smaller boards. They'll fit inside a suitcase.
They will. Now, they won't fit in a briefcase. I
No.
will tell you that.
No.
So, but that's why I encourage you to take a photograph of them. You can print them out so that you can keep them with you in your briefcase. For those of you that, don't want to kill trees, keep them on your device or something like that. So, right?
Yep.
So there's some things you can ask yourself too as you design this board. Some of the questions like, what kind of activities do you want to be doing?
Yep.
What do you want to do for fun and relaxation? What does health and well-being look like to you? I think that's a
Yep.
big question this year.
And that is so important because mental health, so many people are struggling, and mental health isn't something you can see, like a broken arm or a twisted ankle. And people have done in the past a really good job of stuffing all of that.
Oh, yes.
And that doesn't work. That does not
We're
work.
infamous for that in our profession, aren't we?
Yes, that's a big piece
To
of
all of our listeners
Suck it up
here.
and keep on going.
I agree. Well, that's what we do because we're caregivers. And so we're going to be out there caring for everybody else instead of ourselves. So this vision board is about taking better care of you.
Absolutely.
Right. And better care of you personally first, professionally second.
And you have to. And I'll tell you, all the articles I'm reading still is about mental health and people, and leadership and senior management taking care of staff. We talked today, there were 2 articles that came up, one from Fast Company, one from Entrepreneur, both about promoting positive mental wellness and health. There's a new word, mental wellness.
I love that. We have funfulness and hellness. Well, sometimes our weeks feel like they're
That's a
in the
combination
middle.
of mental and health well-being.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that more it's like sometimes our weeks feel like we're in the middle of hell, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Especially through the holidays, right? With
Gosh,
funeral
yes.
service. So for all of you in funeral service who did work through the holidays, just know how grateful. I know funeral service, maybe sometimes you don't get enough gratitude, but most of you who know me know I have sat on the other side of that table when I lost my son. And I just want you to know the work you do is so important. We as a human race need you more than we will ever know until that horrific moment when we're sitting on the other side of the table.
Indeed.
So thank you for everything that you do for us, holding our hearts in your hands.
Oh, that's a lovely way to end our podcast today. Thank you, Marguerite. Thank you so much for being with us today. This has been fun. And please post your vision boards as you create them up on Facebook. Marguerite and I will get a couple of photographs of our past vision boards. I don't have mine done for 2023
Me
yet
either.
because 2023 just got here, and I probably should have started this in December, but we all know how Decembers go.
Holidays.
Right. So
Busy,
no matter
busy.
when you're listening to this podcast, you can start a vision board for your year, even if there's only 6 months left. So if you want to start March 1st.
Oh,
right?
there's times where you and I have sat down in June and finished our vision
Right.
boards.
And so that vision board goes from June to June, and then the next year in June. If that's an easier time of year for you to create your vision board, if January is just so busy out there, especially we know it can be in our profession, January and February can be your busiest months. Just wait till March but put them up online if you want
We'd
to
love
share
to
them.
see them.
We would love to see them. We would love. And so you'll see some of ours up there too.
Yes.
And that'll be on yourfuneralcoach.com's Facebook page. And we'll see that those are up there, and Instagram as well. And maybe we'll tweet about it and remind you. And then we'll send a link on LinkedIn. And if we work on it soon, we could get it up on the websites.
Awesome.
So that's personal. If you choose not to share and you just want to share your word or your phrase with us,
Oh, that's a great idea.
yes, feel free to do that as well. Marguerite, again, thank you so much. If anyone needs to get a hold of you, you can go on our website at yourfuneralcoach.com and see how to reach out to Marguerite. She's right there with her contact information and easily get to you. But give us, again, your quick email address. And
Marguerite at ignitingsuccess.net. And my website is www.margueriteham.com. And of course, my phone number is 303-646-2857. Would be delighted to hear from any and all of you. Wishing you a blessed 2023.
thanks again. And thank you, listeners, for joining us. And we'll talk soon because I think we're going to work on that mental illness topic. The next time we have Marguerite on, we'll talk more about mental illness. I think that is great phrase. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's Your Funeral Coach podcast and will join Lisa Baue and her guests again soon. Let us know if there are any topics you would like to hear more about. For more information on future shows, please go to yourfuneralcoach.com. If you enjoyed the show, consider giving us a 5-star review. Thank you.